Hi everyone, Arwen here, and today I'm doing a review of the Golden Path Oracle cards, and they are by Toni Salerno, and I apologize, but I cannot pronounce the illustrator's name, so I'm going to call him Mr. Tang because I cannot pronounce his first name. So this is by Blue Angel Publishing, and of course has the super sturdy box, okay, and has a nice guidebook. Now the guidebook is a lot thinner than the Kuan Yin Oracle and the Isis Oracle and the Oracle of the Mermaids. It's very thin in comparison. So as you can see, this is the back, and it's a very gorgeous yellow, okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and show you the artist. I really think, his artwork is absolutely magnificent. So this is the backs of the cards, okay, and we'll go ahead and go through them now. So the artist, I think, is absolutely amazing. His artwork's beautiful. And what I like about this deck is each card is just a very simple thought, right? Unconditional love, space clearing, what is this? Spontaneous and intuitive creation. And that's something that I really like about the deck, that each card is very simple in its message, right? Like, it's not very convoluted, it's not very difficult to understand, it is what it is. Something that I noticed in using this deck is I like using it for one card readings. I think it works well for that. It's okay in a spread, although and there is just a little bit of nudity, and although it works kind of okay in a spread, I noticed that there is a lot more, or at least I like using decks that have multitudes of layers of information when I'm doing a spread, so that way, you know, there's so much depth and detail that can come of it. Whereas when the cards are a little more like simple and to the point, I just like doing a one card spread a little bit better. Okay. There is one card in here that I don't really like. I don't think I've seen it yet. No. Yeah, it's coming. So the Forgiveness card I love. It is the Soulmate card. And he really looks like he's angry, right? Like, he looks like he's upset. I don't think I want him to be my soulmate. And I kind of would have chosen a little bit different image for this card. Because usually with soulmate, we don't think like, you know, diabolical guy, right? Which is what this guy reminds me of. So this is the only card in the deck I just don't resonate with. But the rest of them, you know, I like the images. I think they go well with the message and everything. So one thing that I have noticed about this deck is that the guidebook is not very lengthy on an explanation, right? So it's kind of short, and it's very, I just don't know, it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of depth to me. So when I read these cards, I've never picked up the guidebook again, right? It is very thin, but as you see, you know, it's just short. You know, which is fine, it is what it is. There are affirmations on the bottom of each one, okay, and he does have a couple of spreads in the beginning. Okay, so he's got the 4-card spread, the Unfolding Purpose spread, Rainbow Chakra, and then the Creative Star spread, okay, and I, of course, have not used any of the spreads in the book. I think you've heard me say that in all my reviews. I never do. I always, you know, use whatever spread I think is best, or most of the time I actually make up my spreads. That's part of the reason why I never use the spread in the books. So regarding this deck, the one thing that I would say is negative about it is that the pictures and the words in the book, they don't feel like they coordinate a lot, right? Like, the energies don't really feel like they mesh all the way. It kind of feels like the artist created over here, and then the person who wrote it kind of wrote it over here, and like they weren't really connected and kind of weaved together. So the energy in this deck, it doesn't feel like it goes like this. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to explain that. So if you were to ask me, would you buy this deck again? I hate to say it, I probably would not. Just because it doesn't, I just like things that are very, like, lots of depth, and this deck doesn't have that. So I do think that the art in the deck is beautiful. Okay, I do like that about it, and I really just use this deck for maybe my daily Instagram, or just pulling one card and feeling the energy of it. And I'm not saying that, you know, I can't read the cards because there's not an immense amount of depth in them like some of my other decks. I'm just saying that I don't tend to gravitate towards them as much. I guess maybe what I'm trying to say is there's not an underlying, like, archetype frequency with these cards. Whereas with the Kuan Yin, clearly Kuan Yin is the archetype. Clearly Isis is the archetype. Clearly mermaids are the archetype, right? Emotional depths is the name of the game with this one. And then the same thing with this one, you know, it's very much all about the fairies. This one just didn't really have too much of a theme. I just didn't feel like there was something that, like, tied everything together. So I like the idea of Wisdom of the Golden Path, but I feel like, you know, the Golden Path, maybe the archetype of that could have been stronger in the deck. Could have been weaved through it a little bit better and somehow. So when I hear Wisdom of the Golden Path, I think, you know, the path of the heart, the path of the intuition, the path of your higher self, you know. And I feel like these cards cards and the meanings and everything could have really brought that out in a very amazing way. But I don't feel that from this deck. I don't feel like the cohesiveness of all the cards, and that, oh yeah, all these cards are about the heart, all these cards are about the golden path. They just, it kind of feels like the artist created them and he did a beautiful job with the creation of them, but it just feels like his creations weren't weaved together, right? So each card is an individual creation of his, and I don't feel like the energy of the cards was weaved together, and I don't feel like the pictures in the guidebook are very weaved together. So I don't want to give a positive review, but I don't want to give a negative review. It is what it is. This card deck has positive notes and it has, I'd say, drawbacks. So you guys will have to take what I said from it and decide for yourself if it's right for you. If you want something that's just very, you know, simple and like just the card and just tune into the card and forget any words, you might really enjoy the deck a lot. So I already have it. I'm obviously not gonna return it or anything, but I will use it as it is called to me. But if I had to buy it again, I probably would not buy it again. So anyway, that is my review. So just listen to your intuition if you feel guided to purchase this deck. If you feel like it's right for you, then it is right for you. If you, after listening to me, feel like, you know what, I don't feel like that's the right deck for me, then it is not the right deck for you. So just listen to your intuition as to whether or not this deck feels right for you. And I hope you guys enjoyed my review. And please let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have this deck, because I don't know anybody who has this deck, but if you do already have it, let me know what you think of it in the comments. I'd be very interested to know.